Years ago, before modern technology, doctors had to rely upon this inner voice to diagnose their patients because they lacked other means. This exercise will help to develop this intuitive ability within you. Thus, we can call this an early warning system that will better enable you to seek prompt and proper medical treatment in the event of an onset of a serious medical condition. The young portion of this move begins by standing with your feet slightly more than shoulder width apart. Place your right hand on your waist and your left hand on your ear. Inhale and turn your left foot out and lift the toes so that only the heel remains on the ground. Exhale and bend towards the left, sideways, extending your elbow towards your toes. Repeat this move 8 times on each side. This move involves an internal self-examination. It will help you to hear a noise from inside that will tell you your physical condition, and thus it is a diagnostic tool. The yin move begins with your feet shoulder width apart. Inhale and place your hands together lightly by pressing them together more and more tightly as your posture sinks. Exhale and with your left foot step behind your right and sit down on the left foot until you are in a snake stance. As you come up, inhale and gradually relax the pressure between your palms. Repeat the move on the other side, exhaling as you go down. This move can be done 8 times altogether or 4 times on each side. This move is like the mechanism of a pump, and what is happening is that the body is pumping qi from the lower part or kidneys to the upper part or brain. The balancing move is known as the 5 elements balance. Let the tips of your thumbs, index fingers, and small fingers touch each other while the middle and ring fingers overlap to form a bridge between the 2 hands. Hold your hands in front of your face and bring them up above your head to the Bai Wei while raising your eyes 30 degrees. Hold this posture while regulating your breathing for a period of time. It is better to stand in this posture as long as possible than to do repetitions of this move. Raising the eyes brings the qi up to the brain. The qi goes from the kidney to liver to stomach to brain. The pinky relates to the kidney, the index finger to the liver, and the thumb to the stomach. The middle finger, which is heart, and the ring finger that is lung, rest against each other and are not emphasized. As you bring your hands up, tighten your anal muscles, since this will facilitate the passage of qi being pumped up your spinal column. The 9th move is called Iron Cow Plows the Soil. The cow is described as being made of iron because this is a strengthening exercise for the internal organs as well as the back. It also increases the flexibility of the spine. In martial arts, the spine is considered to be like a bow in the body, and it is important to be able to generate power from the spine. This can only be done when the spine is flexible. We begin with the yin move. Begin with your feet shoulder-width apart. Inhale and step behind your right foot. Exhale and punch forward, touching your toes with your fist. Come back up, change hands and feet, and repeat the move 8 times altogether. When you are comfortable with this, you can also practice the move by stretching your arm and not punching downward. The yang move begins with the feet together, fists at your waist. Inhale and lower your posture slightly. Exhale and step backwards with the left foot. Inhale and return to the first position and repeat the move on the right side. Do this move 8 times altogether. The balancing move begins by standing with the feet shoulder-width apart. Rotate the toes 45 degrees away from each other. Reach down and grasp the inside of your thighs in each hand and straighten up, sticking out your chest. This movement will cause a pulling on your thighs upward and forward. This stretches the chest and the spine and allows a free flow of qi up the spine. This concludes the first half of the 18 Louhan, the remainder of which continues on part 2 of the 18 Louhan videotape. This is the second segment of the 18 Louhan Qigong video. As previously explained, these exercises are intended for people who are engaged in the study of martial arts or engaged in sporting activities and wish to improve their performance. The first tape covered exercises 1 through 9. In fact, each exercise is made up of 3 parts: a yin part, a yang part, and a balancing part. Exercise number 10 is called Green Dragon Undulates His Tail. All 3 of the moves in this exercise involve the development and use of cross energy. The yin move begins as you inhale and stand with your feet together and fists at your waist. Exhale and step to your left and perform a vertical punch with your right hand. Your body is now in a bow and arrow posture. Keeping your eyes on your hand, inhale and bring your hand back until it brushes against your right thigh. Exhale and bring your hand up above your head as you snap your head to the left. Repeat the move on the other side. Do it a total of 8 times. This move may also be done by stretching rather than punching the arm forward. The yang movement begins by inhaling as you stand with your feet together. Exhale and step with the left foot first and rotate your left arm around until it is behind you. At the same time, rotate your right arm out away from you and back in a smaller circle, which ends with your hand under your left armpit. Turn your head so that it follows your left hand. Repeat the move on the other side. Do this move 8 times altogether. The balancing move begins with your feet together and hands at your side. Bring your hands to your waist and step forward, left foot first, twisting into a dragon stance. Be sure that your head remains facing in the direction you originally stepped and that your shoulders and elbows line up with your head. You may breathe naturally as you do this posture. Do each posture once, but stay in it for as long as you are able. Cross energy does not involve reeling silk energy. Cross energy occurs when the shoulder and the hip are at different angles. The internal source of this energy is the liver. There are many examples of the use of cross energy in the martial arts: hip throws, cross hand strikes in Tai Chi Chuan, cross leg kicks in long fists, and hip strikes. In hip throws and hip strikes, the shoulders go in one direction and the hips go in the other. The 11th exercise is called maneuvering the horse left and right by controlling the reins. The movements are designed to strengthen the diaphragm, which is involved with breathing and bringing qi to the dantian. The diaphragm also controls the exchange of upper and lower qi. The first two moves in this section use regular breathing, and the adjustment move is reverse breathing. The first movement is a yang stand with your feet together and fists at your waist. Bring your left arm around and clasp your right forearm. Kick your left leg, toe pointing forward, and forcefully extend your arms. If you can't kick, just bring your knee up. Use your diaphragm to exert your power, and then using your diaphragm, hold this posture for a period of time. Repeat the move on the other side. The yin movement begins on an inhalation with the feet together. Step to the left and exhale into a bow and arrow with the left elbow striking an imaginary opponent. Notice that the right palm reinforces the left arm. Inhale and then exhale as you bring the right foot behind the left foot, and with the left palm supporting the right arm, strike with the right elbow, performing at the same time a tiger tail kick with the right heel. Try to make the right elbow strike and the right heel kick both face upward. Use your focus on the diaphragm to maintain this posture and keep your balance. The adjustment movement begins by standing with your fists at your waist. Step backwards on the left foot, punching up and forward so that your back and arms form a straight line. As you do the posture, inhale, but have your stomach, including dantian and diaphragm, cave in and contracting as you are in this posture. Exhale while stretching outward with your arms and expanding both the dantian and diaphragm. Keeping this stance, inhale again, compressing both the dantian and the diaphragm, and exhale, stretching the arms for at least 3 breaths. Your stance should now be 70-30, with the 70% of your weight on the back foot. This move involves reverse breathing, which means that when you inhale, both the dantian and the diaphragm contract. The diaphragm is involved in breathing and in conveying qi to the dantian. In regular breathing, when the diaphragm expands, the dantian contracts and vice versa. There are 5 types of breathing in martial arts. The first is irregular breathing, where the dantian expands as the air is inhaled. The second is reverse breathing, where the diaphragm and the dantian are both compressed as the air is inhaled. The third is called turtle breathing, which involves taking slow breaths which are hardly visible. This type of breathing is very important to pushing hands or other activities where you are attempting to listen to your opponent's movement. Breathing like a turtle is slow, maybe only 1 breath a minute, and the inhalation and exhalation are almost imperceptible. The importance of this is seen in terms of the fact that when a person exhales, they become vulnerable to an opponent's attack. And for instance, in push hands, if you push your opponent as they exhale, they are more likely to be moved. The last 2 types of breathing are more advanced. They are prenatal breathing, such as done by a baby inside the womb, and pore breathing, where you breathe through the pores of your skin. Master Su will not be working with these last 2 methods during the seminar. An example of regular breathing is the block and punch. One inhales as one blocks and exhales as one punches. Thus, the block involves an expansion of the dantian and contraction of the diaphragm, and the exhalation punch involves the contraction of the dantian and expansion of the diaphragm. In regular breathing, the relationship between the dantian and diaphragm is inverse, but in reverse breathing, it is direct. Thus, as the move is done, one inhales and both diaphragm and dantian contract. Reverse breathing movements usually involve downward moves like snake creeps down in Tai Chi. As you go down, you inhale, which contracts your dantian and diaphragm. As you come up, you expand both dantian and diaphragm. Turtle breathing is found in Tai Chi cloud hands, where you are doing many movements per breath while at the same time listening with your body. The diaphragm and the dantian have a relationship. The diaphragm is in the center of the body and the center of gravity. As such, it is important for balance. In Tai Chi Chuan, they always emphasize controlling your center. This is referring to the diaphragm. In regular breathing, the correlation between the diaphragm and the dantian is inverse. When the diaphragm expands, the dantian shrinks, and when the diaphragm contracts, the dantian expands. In Bagua Pom, you will hear practitioners speak of expanding the opening of the back, contracting the opening of the back, and the normal position for the opening of the back. The opening refers to the diaphragm, and the back refers to the dantian. In the move Master Su is doing, he's both inhaling and contracting his diaphragm as he inhales, and consequently, his dantian is expanding. As he comes out of the posture, his diaphragm is expanded and his dantian contracts as he exhales. Once the movement is complete and he is again walking the circle, the position of the opening of the back is normal, and the diaphragm and dantian are of normal size, and breathing is normal, without any emphasis on inhale or exhalation. The 12th move is called Swallow Skims the Water. These moves are intended to develop the dantian. The first movement is a yin movement, which emphasizes the contraction of the dantian. Begin with your feet shoulder width apart and your arms extended. Lower your body into a horse stance and swing both arms as shown on the video, touching the floor with your left palm. If you cannot reach the floor, then it's acceptable to bring your hand down to the level above the floor as shown in the video. Contracting the dantian increases your root and also allows you to neutralize an opponent's force. The energy as shown in the video goes from the dantian down the legs, back up through the back into the arms, and allows Master Su to push Marit. The dantian can also be used to uproot an opponent by expanding the dantian as shown when Master Su lifts Marit. The yang move begins on an inhalation with the feet together. Step forward with the left foot placing the heel on the ground. Beginning with the right arm forward, swing the arm back and forth 4 times. On the 4th swing, exhale and move your weight forward into a bow and arrow and hold the arm up. Note that after the first move, a 5th count occurs because you are turning. The hand should be almost vertical with the thumb facing upwards. Repeat this move 8 times, 4 on the left and 4 on the right. The balancing move involves standing with your feet together and palms facing each other. Bend forwards, and as you come towards the ground open, extend your palms so that they touch the ground with the fingers facing away from each other. Try to hold this posture as long as possible. If you can't reach the ground, then extend your arms as far as you can, as demonstrated by Master Su, with the palms facing the ground and the fingers extending away from each other. The 13th move is called the fierce tiger leaps over the cliff. This move is designed to improve your jumping ability by working on the toes. It will also help your balance and equilibrium. The emphasis is on the toes and the ear. Begin with your feet together and your palms in front of and facing your face. Exhale and push forward with your hands and jump backwards with your feet landing on the toes. Notice that your heels are not high off the ground, but they are not touching either. Inhale and return to your former position, jumping forward and turning your hands back. Notice that the move gives the impression that you are pushing yourself away from a wall and then being sucked forward. This jump is the yin jump. Do this move 8 times. The yang jump begins with your feet together and hands at your sides. Raise your hands over your head, palms facing forward. Step forward with the left foot first. Curve your hands as they come forward and bend your body until the back of your hands are facing the ground. Bring your right foot forward as your hands return to your waist with the palms facing upwards. Leap high in the air. Arch your back, sticking your chest and belly forward and throwing your hands over your head. Come back on your toes in a squatting posture with the hands forward, elbows down, palms at shoulder level, but curved so as to resemble the paws of a tiger. Come back to a standing position. Step forward with the right leg and repeat the move again on the other side. Do this move 8 times altogether. The combining move begins by standing with feet together and hands at your side. Turn your feet out so the heels are touching and the toes face away from each other. Inhale and bring your hands up so that the palms are pressed against your ears and the fingers reach behind the back of your head. Pressing your palms tightly against your ears, exhale and bring your elbows together. Notice that the sound that you hear in your ears and how moving the elbows back and forth modifies this sound. When you have brought your elbows forward, hold them in this position for a few moments. The noise trains your ears and also helps to adjust your equilibrium. Do this move 8 times. The 14th exercise is called the Louhan stretches his back. This exercise improves balance. It stresses use of the back muscles and also the rib cage. The first move is the yin posture that begins standing with your feet together and your hands at your sides. Inhale and make fists and bring them to your waist. Exhale and step to the left side and turn your waist and right foot so that you are in a bow and arrow stance. At the same time, raise the left hand until it is in front of your head with the back of your fist facing you. Simultaneously, bring your right fist around so that it's in front of your stomach. Notice that the left faces out and the right faces in. Rotate your hands with the top hand circling towards your body and the bottom hand rotating away from you. Inhale as you rotate a third time, and as you complete this last rotation, open your hands so that the bottom one faces down and the upper one faces upwards and away from you, and lift your right leg off the ground as you lean forward, arching your head and making your eyes fixate upon your left or upper hand. Notice that your body forms a cradle or hammock as you stay in this posture for as long as you comfortably can. Do this move 8 times on each side, or as many as you are comfortable with. The yang move begins with your hands at your sides. Inhale. Bring your right hand up and cross your body until your fingers point to your left as you exhale. Bend your knees and making a fist in your left hand, bring it to your waist. Inhale, and as your eyes follow your left hand, it punches upward, while the right hand comes downward with the palm stopping just below the left armpit. Exhale and step to the left side into a retreating stance or reverse bow and arrow. Bring your left fist down and turn your right hand over to form a fist at the same time. Repeat this move on both sides 8 times. The balancing move begins with your feet together. Slowly bring your hands up with the fingers facing each other, palms down. Make sure that your hands do not touch. Bring your hands closer as though to clasp them in prayer, but instead bend the fingers further back and without touching the palms, bring the hands over your head with your fingers facing away from you. Hold this posture for as long as it is comfortable. If you hold the posture for a long time, it is not necessary to repeat this move. The 15th move is called the Titan offers a drink. The yin move begins by standing with your hands at your side. Inhale as you step to the side and turn your left foot until the toes are facing the opposite direction and your right knee is against your calf. This is called a dragon stance. Exhale and quickly and simultaneously bring your left foot backwards and the right forward so that you have jumped into a right bow and arrow stance. Make only one sound as you land at the same time, still holding your left wrist with your right hand. Punch with your left and exhale. Do this move 8 times altogether. This move trains the back leg, which is an essential part of power issuing. The yang movement begins with the hands at your sides and feet together. Step forward into a bow and arrow with the left foot and bringing your right arm to your left shoulder, rotate your left arm counterclockwise in front of you. Complete 4 entire circles and inhale as you bring the hand up in a forward position, then down in a back position, changing your weight to your right foot and raise the tips of your toes on the left foot off the ground and exhale as you go into bow and arrow stance and bring your arm up. Repeat this move on the right and do it 8 times altogether. The balancing move begins with the feet together and the hands at your side. Press the palms together at your chest and at the same time lean forward